What happens when the man who built 5 stores from scratch walks in as a new trainee and no one knows he owns them? Elias Grant was 61, quiet-eyed, and tired. Not tired in the way a man gets from staying up too late, but the kind of tired that hits when you start to wonder if your life's work has drifted off course without you seeing it. He'd built his small chain of late-night convenience stores from a beat-up trailer and 1 freezer in the back of his truck. Over 30 years, he turned it into 5 clean, well-stocked, 24-hour shops across the state. He used to know every inch of every shelf. Now, he was mostly in the office meetings with the district manager, looking at profit reports, dealing with suppliers. Lately, there'd been a rise in customer complaints from Store 4, the one in the industrial zone on the edge of town. Missing items, odd charges, workers quitting without notice. Probably just a rough patch, his district manager Tasha had said. The night crew's been tough to keep. Lot of turnover. But Elias didn't trust filters anymore. He needed to see for himself. He shaved his beard, dyed his hair darker, swapped his glasses for contacts, bought a cheap pair of sneakers and a second-hand hoodie. He called Tasha and told her he was taking a few days off, no explanation. Then applied through an online job agency under the name Eric Green. His application was pushed through fast. Store 4 was short 2 people on nights. No one recognized him. That made sense. He'd only ever visited Store 4 twice, both during the day, and the current night crew had all started in the last 6 months. His first shift started at 10 p.m. sharp. "Eric, right?" said a tall woman with tired eyes and a sharp voice. "I'm Melinda. I run the night crew. You'll stock, clean, and cover register if needed. Don't fall behind." "Got it," Elias nodded, keeping his voice low and his head down. Melinda didn't like small talk. There were only 2 others on shift: Victor, a soft-spoken guy in his early 20s who looked like he hadn't slept in days, and Brianna, who barely said a word and kept earbuds in unless spoken to. The first hour passed in a blur of stocking milk and refilling the candy aisle. Elias moved slow on purpose, watching, listening. "Hey, Mel," Victor said while breaking down cardboard boxes. Question: "Didn't you say the night shift pay was going up? I thought it was supposed to kick in this week." Melinda didn't look up from her clipboard. "Yeah, no, that's not happening. Corporate scrapped it. Said it wasn't in the budget." "You're lucky you still have this job, Vic." Victor frowned. "That's not what they said in the hiring email." Melinda tossed a box aside and walked past him. "Emails mean nothing. You want to fight with corporate, go find another gig." Elias paused mid-shelf. That wasn't true. He had personally signed off on the night shift pay bump. $2 more per hour, starting that Monday. It was meant to help with retention and reward the night crew for working rough hours. He'd made it clear in the system. But Melinda had just shut it down like it didn't exist. He kept quiet. He needed more. By midnight, the store had emptied out. Brianna went on break without saying a word. Elias was sweeping near the back when he heard Melinda talking to someone at the register. "Yeah, I told them corporate scrapped it. They won't question it. Besides, that extra pay is going to me now. I do more than them anyway." Elias slowly turned the corner. She was talking to another employee, a young guy in a hoodie who looked like he was off shift. "You're taking their raise?" the guy asked. Melinda shrugged. "They don't read their stubs. I remove the bonus code in the system and enter it under my ID. No one checks. Easy money." The kid laughed nervously. "Damn, that's wild." Elias's chest tightened. He felt heat rise behind his eyes. He walked back to the stockroom without a word. He needed to think. His hands shook. She was stealing. From his workers. From him. He thought about walking out right then and calling Tasha. But no, not yet. He needed to see more. He needed to know how deep this went. Because if Melinda was doing this, who else might be? And how long had these people been working in the dark, thinking no one cared? He stayed quiet. Kept working the rest of the shift. Nodded when Melinda told him to clean faster. Helped Victor restock energy drinks. watched Brianna wipe down counters while shivering in a thin hoodie. At 6 a.m. she offered him a ride home. He declined, said he walked. He didn't sleep that day. Instead, he made a list of every name on the night crew. Cross-checked their hours. Pulled payroll records. Something was broken, and he was going to fix it starting with Melinda. Elias returned for his second night just before 10, wearing the same faded hoodie and worn-out sneakers. The fluorescent lights inside buzzed quietly. He saw Victor already behind the counter, counting singles from the till like it was a sacred ritual. Brianna was near the coffee machine, restocking sugar packets with mechanical precision. Back again? Victor asked without looking up. Yeah, Elias said. Didn't think they'd call me in so soon. They didn't have much of a choice. Another guy quit yesterday morning. Just walked out after his shift. Victor's voice was flat. Not surprised. Not even disappointed. Just resigned. Melinda arrived 10 minutes late. No apology. She tossed her bag behind the counter, glanced around, then looked at Elias. Register tonight. Don't screw up the lotto drawer. If you're short, it comes out of your check. She didn't wait for a response before heading to the back office. The door clicked shut. Elias nodded once to Victor, who offered him a tight, tired smile. Then he stepped behind the counter and began familiarizing himself with the register interface. It was nearly identical to the one he'd helped design a decade ago, though the colors had changed. A man in a reflective vest walked in and asked for 2 packs of menthols and a scratcher. Elias rang him up, handed him change, and thanked him. The man gave a polite nod and left. Smooth. Efficient. By 11, Elias had handled a steady stream of customers. Most were workers from nearby factories grabbing snacks or coffee. A few looked like they lived out of their cars. No one lingered long. Victor was restocking the refrigerated cases near the back. Brianna hovered near the cleaning supplies, checking expiration dates and scanning items into a handheld device. Just after midnight, a woman came in pushing a stroller. She looked exhausted. Her clothes were clean but worn. She asked if the store had formula. Just a couple cans left, Elias said, gesturing toward aisle 3. Top shelf, I think. She gave him a grateful smile and hurried off. Minutes later, she returned to the register holding 1 small can. This is the last one, she said. Do you guys ever get the kind with iron? Elias scanned the barcode. Usually, yeah. Might be that the truck hasn't come in yet. She opened her wallet and counted bills. Mostly ones. Just this tonight, she said quietly. I'll come back next week. As she turned to leave, Melinda emerged from the back and intercepted her. You didn't pay for that yet, she snapped. I was going to, the woman stammered, startled. He was ringing it up. Melinda shot Elias a look. You don't just hand over product before taking payment. That's theft. I don't care if she's got a kid. Elias calmly handed the woman her receipt. It's paid. I already ran her card. The woman nodded, clutching the small bag. Thank you. Melinda said nothing as the woman exited, but her mouth tightened. She turned on Elias. Don't give anyone the benefit of the doubt. People lie. They steal. That's how we get shrink. Elias met her eyes. She didn't lie. And the cameras show I scanned it before she left. Melinda stared at him, expression unreadable. Then she walked off again, muttering something under her breath. At 1, Victor came to the counter and leaned close. You handled it better than I would have. She's been like that since I started. Always waiting for someone to trip up. Elias nodded once. Why stay? Victor hesitated. I'm trying to finish my EMT cert. Need night hours that don't conflict with class. There aren't many options. Elias lowered his voice. She ever do that to you? Not like that, but... Yeah. I got written up once because I let a guy use the bathroom after hours. It wasn't posted anywhere, but she said I broke policy. Elias made a mental note. That wasn't policy. Not anywhere. At 2, Brianna finally took her break. She grabbed a bottled tea and sat at the back table, facing the wall. Elias asked Victor, she always that quiet? Victor glanced over. She used to talk more. Then Melinda started assigning her the worst shifts. One time, Brianna asked if she could swap a Friday with another worker. Melinda said no, then gave it to a new guy instead. After that, she just stopped asking. Elias thought for a long moment. You ever bring any of this to HR? Victor gave a short, humorless laugh. There's no HR after midnight. By 3, the store was quiet. Elias offered to clean the coffee machine, which hadn't been wiped down all night. As he scrubbed, he noticed the label on the creamer was 2 months expired. He checked the others. Same result. He found a clipboard behind the counter with a checklist. Rotate dairy every other shift. All boxes checked. Someone had been falsifying logs. He didn't say anything. Not yet. At 4, Melinda emerged from the back again, sipping an energy drink and scrolling on her phone. She looked up and frowned. "Why are you scrubbing creamer pumps?" "They're sticky," Elias said. "That's not your job tonight. You've got cooler duty." "Already done. Victor finished it earlier." Melinda narrowed her eyes. "I didn't sign off on that. He didn't ask. Just did it." She looked over at Victor, who was sweeping near the snack aisle. "That true?" Victor stood still for a breath. "Yeah. I figured if I got it done early, I could help Bree with the backstock." Melinda dropped her drink on the counter. "That's not how we do things. You don't get to pick your pace. You follow the system. If I say cooler gets done at 4, it gets done at 4. Victor's jaw clenched. "I stayed late yesterday to help cover." "I thought you thought." Melinda cut in. "You don't think. You follow." Elias stepped around the counter. He finished the task ahead of schedule. "That should count for something." Melinda turned to him. "You're a trainee. You don't get to weigh in." Elias didn't move. "I know how to recognize initiative. And I know when someone's misusing authority." There was a long silence. Then Melinda pointed at Victor. "Take your break. Now." Victor didn't argue. Just walked out the front and sat on the curb. Elias cleaned in silence for a while. Brianna returned and resumed shelf rotation without a word. At 5, a delivery truck pulled in. Melinda didn't help unload. Just stood by the monitor and tapped keys. Elias and Brianna hauled boxes while Victor checked items off the manifest. Halfway through, Elias noticed a box labeled "Night Shift Incentive Snacks" had been set aside. It was unopened. He asked, "What's this?" Brianna looked over. Those were supposed to be shared during break room hours. "We never saw them," Victor added. "They started showing up a month ago." Melinda said they were for supervisory staff only. Elias opened the box. Inside were granola bars, fruit snacks, and bottled juices. All marked Employee Appreciation Night Crew. He said nothing, just closed the box and carried it inside. By 6, the sun had started to bleed faint light into the parking lot. The shift was nearly over. Melinda called everyone to the front. "Inventory tomorrow night's going to be tight. No early outs. Everyone stays until I say otherwise." Victor nodded without making eye contact. Brianna just blinked slowly. Elias said, "Got it." Melinda looked at each of them. "No mistakes. I'll be watching." When the others stepped out, Elias stayed behind. Melinda looked at him, annoyed. "You need something?" He pulled a folded sheet from his back pocket and handed it to her. She unfolded it. It was a printout of the payroll system. Highlighted rows showed bonus codes removed from Victor and Brianna's profiles, then applied under Melinda's ID. "What is this?" she asked. "Proof," Elias said, "of theft and manipulation of company systems." "You have no idea what you're talking about." "I built that system," Elias said quietly. "My name is Elias Grant. I own this company." Melinda froze. For a long second, she didn't speak. "You're lying." Elias stepped around the counter, opened the back office, and pulled a key from his pocket. It fit the manager's drawer. He pulled out a binder, a copy of the company's core values, signed by him. "I'm not." Melinda's face drained. This isn't fair. I've been holding this place together." "No," Elias said. "You've been holding people down. You're done here." She opened her mouth, but he didn't wait. He called Tasha. When she picked up, he said 5 words. "Come to store 4. Now." Then he hung up. Melinda didn't say another word. Tasha arrived just after 7. She wore her usual navy blazer over a white blouse, hair pulled back, clipboard in hand. Elias met her outside, away from the windows. Her stride slowed the moment she saw his face. She blinked once, then tucked the clipboard under her arm. You weren't kidding, she said. Elias didn't smile. Come inside. We're not doing this in the parking lot. Inside was quiet. The day shift manager, a wiry man named Darren, had just arrived and was doing a walkthrough. He gave Elias a nod, assuming he was just another trainee. Elias returned it briefly before leading Tasha to the back office. He opened the door. Melinda was still there, standing beside the desk, arms crossed, staring at the floor. You've been briefed, Elias asked Tasha. I checked the payroll files like you said. She didn't look at Melinda. The override codes match her login, and I traced the adjusted hours. She's been pulling time from at least 3 staff members, not just the ones on night shifts. Melinda's voice cracked. I did what I had to do. You think this place runs itself? You think those people would last a week without someone keeping them in line? Tasha didn't answer. Elias stepped closer. You manipulated payroll. You redirected bonuses. You blocked rightful raises. And you did it while enforcing policies that don't exist. Melinda's mouth twitched. You've never worked nights. You don't know what it's like. I did. I built this store from a truck bed. Remember? His voice was quiet. I stocked shelves at 2 in the morning and scrubbed freezers during heat waves. I know exactly what it's like. Tasha cleared her throat. We'll be conducting a formal audit of all your shifts. Effective immediately. You're suspended without pay pending termination review. Melinda's eyes darted between them. I've been here for 6 years. Elias opened the office door. And that ends today. She left without another word. Tasha sat down at the desk and pulled her laptop from her bag. We need to address the rest of the crew. But we do this carefully. If we yank the floor out from under them, we'll lose the stable ones too. Elias nodded slowly. Start by restoring their pay. Retroactive to the moment it was stolen. I already processed it, she said. I'll call HR about misclassified hours and make sure nobody gets shorted again. Good. He paused. You're staying here today. I figured, she said, already typing. I'm taking one more shift tonight. She glanced up. You sure? Elias looked through the office window. Victor was folding boxes near the dumpster. Brianna was helping the new day shift clerk understand the register. Both looked bone-tired but not defeated. Yeah, he said. I'm sure. That night, Elias showed up 15 minutes early. The manager on call for the evening was a younger supervisor named Casey, called in from store 2. She greeted him with a clipboard, eyes scanning his name badge. Eric, right? Heard you've been helping out the last few nights. Just trying not to get in the way. Do more than that tonight. We're short one again. I'll be on the floor with you. Victor arrived a few minutes later, looking more alert than the night before. He gave Elias a nod. Looks like Melinda's out, he said. Yeah, Elias replied, keeping his tone neutral. You hear anything from management? Victor scratched the back of his neck. Only that there was an investigation. Casey didn't say much. Let's just focus on the shift, Elias said. You doing okay? Victor shrugged. Better now. Casey assigned Elias to stock the freezer section and handle spill response if anything came up. She took the register, and Victor began reorganizing the backroom inventory. Around 10:30, Brianna walked in, hoodie sleeves pushed halfway up her arms. She gave Elias a short nod. Hey, she said. I heard you helped the new guy this morning. Did what I could, she replied. He didn't know where we kept the receipt paper. Glad you stuck with it. She narrowed her eyes slightly. Why do you care? Elias paused. Because people who keep showing up when everything's stacked against them deserve better than silence. She didn't answer, but she didn't walk away either. At midnight, the store was steady. A group of warehouse workers came through on break. One of them asked for the brand of energy drink that used to be stocked weekly. Elias checked the system. Looks like it was ordered but never scanned in. Might have been held up. Figures, the man said. This place changed a lot the last few months. Elias nodded, trying to change it back. An hour later, Casey called Elias to the back. She had a clipboard in hand and a concerned expression. "We've got a problem," she said. "I found a stack of unsigned write-ups in the drawer. All dated within the last 6 weeks. None of them have signatures. They're all against night crew." Elias took one and read it. "Failure to complete cleaning checklist. No initials. No timestamps." Exactly. These weren't given to the employees. They were just kept on file. "Trying to build a paper trail," Elias muttered, "to justify blocking raises or firing without cause." Casey exhaled. "What do you want me to do?" "Shred them, every unsigned one, and log it." "You got it." He stepped out and found Brianna at the beverage aisle, restocking. He approached slowly. "You ever get written up for something you didn't do?" Brianna looked at him sideways. "Yeah, twice. Once for leaving a mop out, except I wasn't even on that shift. Another for missing a drawer count, even though I wasn't trained on the register." "Did you report it?" She gave a bitter laugh. "To who? I didn't even know the store had a regional contact." "You do now," he said quietly. "And you won't see phantom write-ups again." She stared at him. "What are you?" He held her gaze. "Someone who forgot how much people like you matter. And I'm done forgetting." She didn't respond. But she didn't look away either. Just after 2, Victor came to the register with a clipboard. "We've got a stocking issue. The dry goods pallet wasn't sorted. Looks like it's been sitting in the wrong bay for a week." "I'll help," Elias said. They worked side by side, moving boxes and checking SKUs. As they worked, Victor glanced over. "Casey's solid. Fair. She doesn't talk down." Elias nodded. "She's staying for now." Victor hesitated. "You know, a few weeks ago, I almost quit. Thought the whole place was rigged." "What changed?" Victor looked at him. "Someone finally looked us in the eye." Elias swallowed hard. "I should have done that sooner." By 4, the store was quiet again. Casey brewed a fresh pot of coffee and brought out a tray of the appreciation snacks from the back. "These were buried under a stack of old returns," she said. "Anyone object if we open them?" Brianna shook her head. Victor smiled. They took a few granola bars, some juice, and sat for 5 minutes in the break area. "You think it'll last?" Brianna asked suddenly. "What do you mean?" Elias asked. "This. Honesty. Things being fair." Elias looked at her. "Not unless we protect it. But we're starting now." No one said anything for a while. The silence wasn't heavy, just quiet. At 6, the day crew started arriving. Victor stayed behind to finish restocking. Brianna helped wipe down the machines without being asked. Elias stood by the door as the morning sun crept over the lot. Casey walked up beside him. "You going back to the office after this?" "Tomorrow," he said. "Tonight I needed to be here." "Then what happens?" "Then we rebuild it. From the inside out." She nodded. "We'll hold the line." As the shift turned over, Elias stepped outside and took a breath of cool morning air. The work wasn't done, but it had begun. Elias waited until the next morning before calling a full meeting, not in a boardroom, not in some distant office, but right inside Store 4, in the same break room where night crews had eaten vending machine dinners under flickering lights. The fluorescent bulb had finally been replaced. It hummed steadily overhead. Tasha stood beside him, clipboard tucked away this time. Casey was there too, leaning against the doorframe. She'd volunteered to stay after her shift ended. Victor and Brianna sat at the small folding table, eyes alert but cautious. 2 other night crew members had been brought in early, Ramon, a warehouse transfer, and Denise, who'd just joined from Store 1. Both of them looked like they weren't sure why they'd been asked to show up, but they stayed quiet. Elias stood, hands resting on the back of a chair. "I won't waste your time," he said. "You've all been working under someone who misused their power. That stops now. The person responsible is gone. Not suspended. Gone." Nobody interrupted. He continued. I came here pretending to be a new hire because I didn't trust the reports I was getting anymore. I needed to see what this place had become. What I saw was a crew doing everything right while being treated like you were lucky to be here. Victor leaned forward slightly. So what happens next? First thing, Elias said, your pay has been corrected. You'll see it on your next deposit. Retroactive. No one's wages should have ever been touched. Brianna's eyes narrowed. And payroll won't just accidentally change again? Tasha stepped in. We've removed override access from individual managers. All bonuses and shift differentials are now locked in through corporate. The only person who can change them is me, and any change will generate an automatic audit. Ramon crossed his arms. What about schedules? We've had people getting stuck on 6-night stretches. Casey turned toward him. I'm building a rotation schedule starting this week. No one works more than 5 consecutive nights unless they request it. I'll post it weekly and publish it 2 weeks in advance so you can plan your lives. Elias added, and we're hiring. Not just posting ads. We've brought in an agency to help screen night crew applicants, and we're offering a hiring bonus for anyone who stays more than 90 days. Denise shifted in her chair. Are those things just for this store? Or all of them? Tasha looked at her. All 5. This wasn't an isolated problem. If it happened here, it can happen elsewhere. We're reviewing every location. Victor sat back, arms folded. That's a start. Brianna glanced between them. And the write-ups? Destroyed, Casey answered. Every one that was unsigned or fabricated. You start clean. Elias stepped away from the chair and leaned against the wall. What I can't fix with policy is trust. That has to be earned. So here's what I'm going to do. I'll be working 1 overnight shift a month. Unannounced. Could be here, could be store 2, could be anywhere. Not to spy. To listen. No one spoke for a moment. Then Brianna stood up. Can I say something? Elias nodded. She looked directly at him. You caught someone stealing time and money from us. And yeah, I'm glad she's gone. But it shouldn't take pretending to be one of us to notice we were being treated like trash. You built this company, but you let it drift. So if you want trust, don't just show up once a month. Make sure the people you put in charge actually give a damn. Elias didn't flinch. You're right. I focused on spreadsheets and reports. I stopped walking my own floors. That won't happen again. She nodded once, then sat back down. Victor looked around the room. Is Casey staying? Elias turned to her. If she wants to. I do, Casey said. But I want to choose my own assistant manager. Someone from this crew. Someone who knows what this shift really needs. Elias raised a brow. You have someone in mind? She looked at Victor. He knows the stock system better than half the new hires. He's calm under pressure and doesn't cut corners. Victor blinked. Wait, me? Brianna nodded once. Makes sense. Elias smiled faintly. Offers yours. Training starts next week. You'll shadow Casey for 2 weeks. Then we'll review. Victor rubbed the back of his neck. Yeah, okay. Good, Elias said. You'll get a pay bump during training and full assistant manager rate after certification. Denise leaned forward. What about safety? We've had people followed out of the lot before. One of the girls quit after that. Tasha opened a folder. We've authorized installation of new lighting across all store exteriors. We're also contracting private security to patrol during early morning hours at locations near industrial zones. Ramon nodded slowly. About time. I know, Elias said. Too much slipped through. He paused, letting the silence settle. One last thing, he added. There's a new suggestion box in the break room. Not a fake one. It's digital. Tasha and I will read every entry ourselves. You can submit anonymously. If something's broken equipment, schedules, policies, you let us know. And if you're ignored, you come straight to me. Brianna raised an eyebrow. Still using the fake name? No, I'm not hiding anymore. The meeting wrapped shortly after. No applause. No dramatic declarations. Just people nodding, processing, getting ready for another night's work. That was all Elias wanted. Quiet forward motion. Later that week, he returned to store 4 not during a shift, but in the afternoon when the place was slow. He walked in with 2 maintenance workers who carried new shelving brackets and a replacement freezer door seal. The lights no longer buzzed. The floor had been waxed. He found Victor near the monitor station explaining the new markdown protocol to a new hire. The clipboard in his hand looked natural, like it belonged there. Across the store, Brianna was setting up a small display of discounted drinks. She noticed Elias, gave him a quick nod, then went back to work. No one flinched when he entered. No one tensed up or dropped their voice. That, to him, said more than words. Later, as he stepped out into the afternoon light, Tasha called him. "You still want monthly shifts?" she asked. "Yes," he said. "Keep 'em random. You planning to tell them when you're there?" "No," Elias said. "Because it shouldn't matter." He ended the call and stood by his truck a moment longer. Not because he was unsure, but because for the first time in a long while he felt like he was part of his company again. Not above it. In it. Where he belonged.